You'll never know, you will never know, you will never know what love can do, what love can do for you. Actually, you will know, because we're going to talk about it in today's episode. Hello, I am Lisa Robbin Young, and this is Creative Freedom, your dose of empowerment for creative entrepreneurs. This is where can-do inspiration and how-to education collide to help you own your dreams without selling your soul. And I am in Michigan this week, Flint Town represent, and we are talking about loyalty, how to earn it, how to keep it, and figure out what's love got to do with it. Author Pamela Herman once said, loyalty happens when we feel a sense of support or allegiance to someone or something. But what exactly can you do to help your clients feel that sense of support or allegiance? Well, it all comes back to a crazy little thing called love. Now, the love I'm talking about here, though, is actually an acronym for the 4 actions that you can take that give your raving fans that sense of allegiance, that sense of being supported by you, of being seen by you, of belonging to the community and movement that you're building. Think about it. If 2 people are selling the exact same thing for the exact same price, in the exact same place, and it requires the exact same amount of effort on your part to buy it, are you going to buy it from the stranger or from the person you already know? Don't laugh, because this is exactly what I used to remind my direct selling clients about all the time. It's not your products that set you apart. It's not your pricing. It's you and the relationships that you've built with your customers. Author Jeffrey Gitomer said, all things being equal, people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. All things not being equal, they'd still prefer to do business with people that they know, like, and trust if they can. Your friends, your raving fans, they want you to succeed. They also want to have a hand in that success if it's possible. So let's make it possible. When you show L.O.V.E. to your audience feels more at ease and trusts you. When they believe you've invested in the relationship, you're creating an emotional debt, something that makes them more likely to say yes to your offers, especially if they like you. Now, a word of caution here. Sales psychology can be used for good or evil. So I am making the assumption that you are genuinely working to serve an audience that you care about, and that you're not trying to manipulate your way to higher sales, because that's just icky, and that's not the way we do things around here. So if that's you, you can click away right now. Still with me? Cool. This is something I wrote about in my book, Creative Freedom, How to Own Your Dreams Without Selling Your Soul. So you can refer back to around page 152 if you'd like, as we dig a little deeper today. Now, I tell my clients that the more a person knows, likes, and trusts you and your company, the more likely it is that they'll do business with you. That know, like, and trust factor, KLT, is not something to take lightly. And the best way I've found to stimulate KLT is with L.O.V.E. Listen, observe, value, educate. So listen and observe. You've got to listen to your audience and observe what's really going on. People often say one thing and then do something else. So it's important to pay attention, but pay attention to what your raving fans are up to, not everybody in the world. It will help inform you about the trends and the patterns in your audience. It enables you to hold up a mirror to them and say, hey, I'm seeing you talking about this stuff. Is this what's really important to you? Am I reading you right? And if you are, then they felt seen. They feel appreciated. And if you're off the mark, you've given them a chance to let you know that you're off the mark, and then they still feel seen and appreciated. So it's a win-win all the way around. Some marketing gurus will tell you to, quote unquote, find their pain point. But that doesn't always apply for creatives. If you're in a luxury market, the pain point might be a little elusive. You might not be solving an obvious problem, but you can certainly empathize and help make their life better through your great work. Music, for example. doesn't necessarily solve a problem, at least not on the surface. Instead, it hits an empathetic nerve. They relate to your music or identify with your art because they feel connected to it or to the story behind it in some way. That's why, instead of pain point marketing, I prefer to ask my clients, how does your great work make their life even better? And the only way you can know that is by listening. Pay attention to what's coming up for your audience, at work, in their home life, wherever. Maybe they're going on about a new movie or a TV show that they've been watching. Or maybe there's a child with failing health. And maybe none of that has anything to do directly with your great work. But the more context you have, the better you know your audience, and the easier it is to serve them. So listen, observe, and then reflect back to them what you're seeing so that you can validate that you're on the right track. I see too many creatives flying blind in this department. They either just do their own thing and pray that people want to buy it, or they ask too many of the wrong people for input on their work. Remember, you're looking for raving fans. They're the ones that are buying from you. They're the ones who want what you've got, and everyone else is just noise pollution. I also want to issue a warning to those of you just getting started with building an audience. You might have heard someone say, well, create a survey and ask your people what they want. There's even a book or two out there that promotes this idea. That's great if you've got clarity on who your audience really is and if you have their ear. Now, if you've got a mailing list or social media following with thousands of people, then you might get a few hundred responses to make it worth your while. In most cases, though, if you're still trying to hammer out who your right audience is, and you're in the early growth stages of your business, then you're going to get really lackluster results, if you get any at all. Especially with newer businesses still trying to figure out their audience, a survey is a waste of time. For one thing, you might not even know what to ask. And for another, you might not get very many people to respond. By paying attention to what your audience is already saying and already doing on their own social media outposts, then you can draw conclusions and theories that you can then test and validate much faster than waiting on survey results. This is Coaching 101. And as a coach, I am constantly mirroring for my clients. Hey, this is what I'm seeing. Do you see that? Am I seeing that correctly? And then I wait for feedback. Yeah, you're right. Wow, I hadn't thought about it in that way. Or, no, that is not what I meant. I meant this. Or, well, sort of. I mean, I see what you're saying, but it's also some of this over here. So clarity above everything else is key. Your assumptions about why people choose you, about what people really want from you, about who you even think your audience is, will kill your business if you don't validate your theories. And the only way you can do that is by listening, conducting an experiment, and then looking at the results. Plan, do, evaluate. I say it so much that my clients start to roll their eyes sometimes. But so many creatives skip the evaluate step and just keep doing. And we all know what happens when you do nothing but do. You get do. So listen and observe what's going on for your right audience. And then show them that you value them. Show them you understand what they're going through. Value isn't a one-way street either, because if you're only doing what works for you without regard to your raving fans, then business dries up. And if you're only doing what your audience wants with no regard for yourself, then resentment starts to build and we start flipping tables and we're like, oh no, I'm done. How do you demonstrate to your audience that you value them? Well, it begins with the mirroring that you do. When you say, hey, I see you and you matter to me, but you can't stop there. Your great work is the evidence of that listening and that valuing. So when you look at Lady Gaga's body of work, yes, she's writing for herself and she's performing in ways that work and appeal to her. Okay, but there's also a very clear overlap with her raving fans, whom she calls little monsters. Her song Born This Way is an anthem, a call to arms for the people who resonate with that message. It very clearly tells her raving fans, hey, I get you. I understand what you've been going through, and maybe I've even been there myself. That's her way of showing L.O.V.E. And her little monsters love how she loves that. Lastly, you've got to educate your audience. Now, it doesn't mean you need to teach an online course or sell a bunch of info products. It means your raving fans want to know you. And the only way that that's possible is if you educate them on who you are. And that means telling them about you, your work, your philosophy, your worldview. It also means educating them about how your offers work, what you're about, and the expectations you have for them and for yourself. You need to keep them looped in. Raving fans want to be in the know, and they get a sense of pride and belonging from being an insider and knowing the scoop that the rest of the world might not be privy to. My cousin is a painter and a collage artist, and recently he shared an incredible collage that he'd made as a tribute to the late, great Aretha Franklin. A piece was great, but the story that he shared on social was even better. He talked about how he chose to put a crown on the Queen of Soul and give it a gangster lean because she was from Detroit. And people were asking about buying it before he even had it ready for sale. By educating his audience about his thought process and the journey of making the piece, not just showing the piece, art for sale, he had ready buyers for his art. Use your social media platforms as a listening station, not just a broadcasting station. Pay attention to what your existing clients are talking about, even if it's not specifically related to your offer. The more you know about the context of your client's world, the easier it is for you to be a part of that world. What if you're brand new or you don't have any clients yet? Super. Start listening now to the people that you'd like to have as clients. And be realistic. While it would be cool if everyone could be on national TV or have some big name superstar influencer as a client or a customer, that's probably not likely right out of the gate. This is one time when it makes good sense to look at the audience that's already in front of you instead of trying to reach for the stars. Now, that said, if you've got an in, by all means, use it. That's how one of my friends ended up on stage with a well-known celebrity. They struck up a conversation on Twitter, and they built a relationship that turned into a friendship, and she eventually endorsed his book. And when she was on tour, invited him to not only come to the show when she was in town, but to come up on the stage and perform with her. What? That's the power of love, my friend. Let me be clear. This is a long game approach. Don't expect miracles 2 days after you send your first tweet or make your first post. And don't feel limited to social media either. You can do this offline as well. Retail establishments often have suggestion boxes or invite their subscribers to submit their comments. Review sites like Yelp and even Amazon can be a huge help in hearing what other people are saying about the kind of great work that you have to offer. The more you listen, observe, value, and educate your audience, the sooner they become raving fans, which is when you'll start to hear them sing, "Once again your love is calling, with a word so gentle and so clear. I'd give my life, I know I'm falling into faith. I just want to have you near." That's what a little love can do for your business. It isn't hard. It just takes time, patience, and a commitment to serve your raving fans in a way that works for them and you. Now, if you need help, I invite you to consider hopping into the Rising Tide Learning Library, where the Find Your Audience Masterclass is waiting for you to dive in and learn more about setting up your listening stations. Not a member already? It's free, yo! Just hop on over to the website. Click the Rising Tide link and you'll get instant access. So now it's over to you. Who are your raving fans? What are they talking about now? And how can you meet them where they're at and show them a little love? Share your thoughts and ideas in the comments and be part of our Rising Tide. If you liked this episode, you can help us make a bigger impact in the world when you like, subscribe, and share us around with your friends. Show us you care with a like and a share. Next time, we will be busting myths around passive income. What it is, what it isn't, and what you need to think about before setting it up in your business. So I hope you'll join us for that next time. And until then, for more inspiration and education to help you own your dreams without selling your soul, come see what's shaking over at LisaRobinYoung.com. You know you want to.